see her, that's another way. Stereo and alien that come from space. To do it record, you gon' need 100K. Bitch, it ain't no sugar on my funnel cake. Disrespect, I spit right in your fucking face. I've been in the loop. Hope I don't get more rash for stepping on my shoes. You might just get toe tagged, yeah, we'll never lose. I got you bitches so mad. The parliament of food through a hole, never moan that. Yeah, that's fucking naked. That's from the body, got the shit becoming separate. Shit be months and seconds, yeah, done and dead it. When I'm smoking gas, I ain't pumping on a let it. Cause this my fucking medics, yeah. You hating on me from a tiny house. Look at it, pop up in the face, you look like Mighty Mouse. In the PM, I be creeping when the neighbors lights us out. Don't be coming with no clothing when I show a grace about. Y'all might need to fucking naked, yeah. Bitches fucking naked, yeah. I'm fucking naked, yeah. Bitches fucking naked, yeah. God don't wanna see you, that's another way. God don't wanna see you, that's another way. Fucking naked, yeah. Bitches fucking naked, yeah. Fucking naked, yeah. Bitches fucking naked, yeah. God don't wanna see you, that's another way. God don't wanna see you, that's another way. Fucking with the flame, I should be DOA. Underneath the ground is where you demon stay. All I want is pleasure, I don't need no pay. If life a water stream, let me see my way. I'm on a mission like Indiana Jones, money niggas don't consume. Yeah, I got a vision that nobody knows. It's so big, I got a tumor. You crash, better cool face, having ass bitches, better have a backup plan. This might be the reason you don't really have a man. Cause girl, you might gotta be bucket naked, yeah. Bitches bucket naked, yeah. Bucket naked, yeah. Bitches bucket naked, yeah. God don't wanna see you, that's another way. God don't wanna see you, that's another way. Bucket naked, yeah. Bitches bucket naked, yeah. Bucket naked, yeah. Bitches bucket naked, yeah. God don't wanna see you, that's another way. God don't wanna see you, that's another way.
Welcome to Leo season. Welcome to Leo season. You know what I'm saying? You got your seasoning and sauces right. You know what I'm saying? Because look, we're getting into the esoteric plane. Look, first and foremost, spring, beach. Summer, where we at right now, rainforest. Fall time, desert. Winter time, Iceland. We're going to break all that down because, you know, we create men and women. Like, you got to be a good god and goddess floating around and stuff like that. You got a lot of children. Sometimes y'all know how to handle them through spring season. Sometimes y'all know how to handle it through summer season. Replace spring season in your mind with beach season. Some of y'all be at the beach playing around too much, don't know you slip and fall and drown. Now, when the summertime come, we at the rainforest. You can't even be around to show your good gifts and good fig leaves over your cloths. You know what I'm saying? Your good esoteric cloths and clothing and stuff. You can't even show it and stuff. You can't show off. You too busy dealing with trying to get out the water because you still can't swim during beach time. You too busy want to do cartwheels and backflips and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You want to be like Wallow, aka the people that used to try to promote people to college and stuff like, hey, you on the couch. You on your phone. You ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? But that energy, you can't show your quality of that though. You can't throw a bucket of water, ice. You can't do the ice challenge. You can't do that and stuff like that because you still trying to pump something out your lungs. Speak. You couldn't speak during springtime. You let somebody rock you to sleep, take your gifts off other stuff. Now we in the summertime. Now you probably just somewhere hating other than expressing yourself. Putting yourself out here in some energy like, yeah, to see me. Look at me. This is what I want to be seen for. This is my attention span. Now you can do that in a healthy way or you can do that in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? That's all on how you correlate your life. If you unproductive, if you productive, all spirits know better though. That's one thing Jehovah showed me. All spirits know better. There ain't no spirit that's out here that sit back and do wrong or whatever the case may be and don't think so. Pardon me. They come up with a lot of other ideas and stuff like that to be like, okay, maybe it was just justification, or maybe this person deserved it, or maybe there's a lot of excuses a person. But if you even got to go through that mental rhetoric, you already in a space you don't belong in spiritually or whatever the case. So you misguided and you're not in order. You're living out of sync. So even though we all experience an esoteric rainforest time, summertime, you want to calibrate something from esoteric Iceland time or esoteric desert time, fall, or esoteric springtime, which would be, esoteric beach time, which would be spring. And then a lot of times these things don't correlate. When we think about the summertime, things might be too lit, too hot to make some a little cooled off or whatever the case may be. So it ain't about all that expression. It ain't about all that trying to be seen. It ain't about all that attention. It ain't about all that aspect that you be into. AKA, I want to be seen as this or whatever the case. Sometimes you got to be calm a little bit, calm, cool, and collected. It's too lit in that situation at the moment. Too many people fighting for the same outdated energy. And for the most part, you're going to have to compete, but then you're going to have to compete for old and outdated energies or whatever the case. And then for the most part, you can sit back from a distance and see people who actually do participate with that still be unfulfilled. Then they go into their harvest season and it still don't be good enough. Deserted season, desert season, opposite end season, fall season, and you still see them trying to produce something from a summer season, get the attention, or not have that satisfaction quality that God want to teach us all and things of that nature. So a person is still doing things that really they should already took that harvest, already accepted, satisfied from that esoteric fruit will play out like attention in a lot of ways in the third dimension, and you'll be able to sit down and relax and let somebody else have a summertime or whatever the case may be. That's how you be in order. Therefore, you don't seem like you a person that's doing too much, or you don't seem like a person that's trying to overcompensate for something. You know what I'm saying? You're like in some type of natural order. But when people don't do that and things of that nature, here's where they meet mistakes. Here's where they meet their feelings being hurt. Here's where they meet their pride and their ego being damaged and things of that nature. And a lot of people are going to have to experience that during the Leo season, because that's what the esoteric world is going to try to teach us through that lens. So keep that in mind. Also, we're dealing with a fixated energy, right? So Tauruses, Scorpios, Aquariuses, and Leos, y'all going to be the examples of what to do and what not to do. Cardinal signs, you have already laid the platform to let us know what we shouldn't do or how we should go about something. And mutable signs is here to add, adjust, or separate, or align in some way, shape, or form. So that'd be the Sagittarius, the Virgo, the Gemini, and the Pisces. But when we get into the cardinal signs, y'all already went through hellfire and brimstone, or turned into a salt and pillar and having to rejuvenate, or however the case may be. So you was already an example, whether you was on a negative end or you was on a positive end, a productive end. You was already an example. And that goes for my Libras, my Aries, my Capricorns, and my Cancers. And y'all probably already know. You know what I'm saying? Based upon personal situations. I don't want people to strictly look at their life in a situation where you hear a person like me speaking the way I speak, and your only way of kind of looking for how that's playing out is through some person that may be important in your life, like a celebrity or something like that, where you be missing the minor gems in your regular life of how this always happening. And when you don't catch a hold how this happening to you, you become more insufficient on how to deal with individuals. You become more or less sufficient, which is insufficient on how to deal with, different backgrounds, and this is qualities that you actually need when you be smothered in your places, like your place of work, in your places like your business, in your places, you know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with a lot of individuals, but this is not more time of your day when you're in your comfort zone or your home, or dealing with family, friends, and these would be more in the associates area as far as business and out in the job. But when you're dealing with your close friends and family and stuff like that, you know how to correlate things a little different. So for the most part, this is going to be an expressive time too, you know what I'm saying, when it comes into Leo, because it's fixed fire. So it's being fixated on our own way of seeing and feeling about something. So you're going to be around individuals that may be stubborn or consistent. It can only be those two. Now, stubborn represents if they're productive, if they're unproductive, if they're negative, right? If they're positive and things of that nature, that means they're going to be in a productive end. But reason why is it can only be one or the two. And it's like that with all fixed signs. It's just going to be like that through the lens of the fire at this moment, because fixated signs is meant to anchor something. So it's holding on to something. But a lot of times when we hold on to something too long, it can appear negative and unable to switch up or adjust, aka like what follows after the fixed sign, be mutable. Yet they're able to anchor what was just initiated, aka what's before them, the cardinal signs. So their positive or negative qualities is going to come from their stubbornness or consistency, but they have to learn how to maintain something. And that's what all fixed signs have to do. And when it comes into the fire fixed sign, that's Leo. They have to learn how to maintain a way of seeing and feeling about something. So sometimes they get too mutable a lot of times, and that will hurt them, because they're trying to be seen in a bunch of different ways how they think people see things, and waste their time into making up a character around that. Then sometimes they may get too cardinal and try to bring a new way that bring in too much unfamiliarity and uncomfortability, no matter how explosive or intelligent or creative it may be, from the Aries aspect, right? So the Leo have to learn how to anchor it, right? I have this way of seeing and I have this way of feeling, and how can I oblige or align this with multiple other people ways of seeing? How can I align this anytime something comes through new? So when something comes through new, I can make that unfamiliar energy more familiar. I can make that uncomfortable energy more comfortable. This what makes Leo sometimes that fire more likable than the Aries. If something comes around that needs changing and adjust or whatever, but we might be jumping too fast or whatever, I can make things more calm in that area. We could pay more attention to what actually matters other than trying to switch or change and adjust something that actually ain't the main thing at the moment, and we might be wasting time. That's where they can anchor the mutable. And once Leo get that quality itself set the stage. And then now they have to participate with their quality of how to hold up something, right? So if they're holding up something positive, it become productive. It become consistent. If they're holding up something unproductive, it become stubborn. So all fixed signs is anchored on doing the same thing, upholding something. But if they're unproductive, it's going to be seen as stubborn. You trying to tell them to do something different, or them keep trying to do the same thing to get different results. If they're doing something positive, they're still doing the same thing, but it's going to be more through the lens of your filtering system when you're experiencing the fixed sign of, oh, they're consistent because it's backed and supported by something positive or whatever the case may be. So keep that in mind. So when it comes into Leos, that comes into our way of seeing and feeling about things. Taurus is our way of thinking and being practical. Scorpios is our way of dealing with the emotions and feelings, and Aquarius is our way of thinking and communicating or whatever the case may be. Now, so all of y'all are dealing with a challenge right now. Taurus has got to learn how to be more expressive when it comes to their way of thinking and being practical. Aquarius has got to learn how to be a little bit more expressive. And they may be on the opposite end right now on their comfort zone, on what that may take. So it's going to be a lot of situations that play out through experiences for Aquariuses that show them that they have to be a little bit more expressive, and that common comfort zone of you just being fixated in your own way of thinking and communicating may play out more on a percentage scale of being stubborn during this particular time other than being consistent. And in order for you to be consistent, you got to learn how to gain comfortability in those small areas of uncomfortability. Learn how to get more comfortability in those areas of uncomfortability. It doesn't matter how someone may think about you after you express yourself a certain way, wake up the next morning and you don't look at yourself like that no more, but you expressed yourself a certain way that you know that person may still look at you in a way that they can formulate predictability in your mind. That's like a worst nightmare for an Aquarius or whatever the case may be. So sometimes y'all would create a bad situation at start when it comes to y'all relationships and conversations at times, and then you realize you made a mistake after something already set in stone. Now you fight against yourself to switch up because you don't want what you just showed to play out as predictability to other individuals. And now it's kind of like you do a self-damaging quality when it comes into your relationships. You'll build a good relationship and leave a negative stain. You know, and Aquarius has got habits of doing that at times. So that's one of y'all issues right there. That's gonna be on a big spotlight right now that the sun is in your opposite sign. So keep that in mind too. It's gonna be a big spotlight on all your instabilities and sweeping up under the rugs and skeletons in the closets. And it's really for all signs, but mainly for the opposite signs that be going through a major time. And right now, the sun being in Leo, Aquarius is getting the spotlight, and Leo is going to be the example of what to do or what not to do. And goddamn Tauruses and Scorpios is going to be frustrated. We have to deal with something. Just deal with it. And y'all saying and then learn how to get the little mutable energy in, and which we're going to break down a little bit. I ain't going to leave y'all naked. I ain't going to leave y'all hanging. I ain't gonna leave y'all hanging. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta understand how it's coming. So right now, we dealing with egotistical men / demon, beautiful women / divas. Now, what do that actually mean? Now, before we even want to get into, oh, this is pseudo however the case, right? Look how the world is being created. Spring, summer, fall, winter. You know what I'm saying? Yabe, walking taka. You know what I'm saying? Beach, rainforest, desert, Iceland. Right now, you know, it's developing from the mind that condense and become the fleshly fluid. So this also comes from our train of thoughts. And your train of thoughts, you have thoughts you emanate that play out more masculine, things you want to push through or persevere or visualize. And once you get inside of it and console in it, right, it becomes a container. It becomes your darkness, or it becomes your household, or it becomes your womb, or it becomes your full mental mind that you inside of as your first body, or whatever the case may be, right? So that would be the feminine nature, right? So your reactionary energy, feminine, your perseverant energy or emanating energy, right? That's masculine, right? So you got to emanate a few to create a container to be in. But in its early stages, before it create the container of being inside like a mind, you're creating these things as children before they build up as a group of neurons to become nucleuses and things of that nature. So knowing the nuances of life help you understand when you really be seeing stars. When you squint your eyes and look at the sky, you see all the, like you got knocked out or whatever, that's what the stars actually are, right? They're ideas. And every time you have an idea, there's a space, a spirit that can become aware for themselves with their own idea, getting help being within a group of ideas that spirits that did that before them, which is you, if you alive right now at the moment and stuff, and spirits that been here before you are able to come back or whatever through all species and stuff like that of how we all do it. You know what I'm saying? And then for the most part, these be ideas, and ideas is our first thought, our first forms, and they're like impactful. They're like physical, but we call it metaphysical or whatever the case may be, right? So when we're dealing with the rainforest, summertime, right? Think about the things you think, no matter your geographical location and your time zone, you're going to experience the same kind of emanation, right? Just on a percentage scale of how long throughout the year it may be more hot and how longer and how shorter throughout the year it may be cold, and vice versa, or whatever the case may be, whether you're going to the North Pole or whatever, or you're going over there in Africa or by China. But for the most part, when you understand it from this aspect, these also the thoughts. So think about your visions and things you want to do, right? And sometimes these go beyond your means. Sometimes you reach for a star or throw a rock at a star that you can't reach, right? These will be your men that you're developing during the time of summer, because you're not going to emanate the same thoughts you're emanating during spring. Like you say, I'm about to turn up during the summer. And like you say, you get ready to calculate quote unquote harvest during fall. And like you say, you get ready to hold it down in this cuffing season before we get into wintertime. But at the same time, those are different frames of thoughts you're emanating, those men. Now, when you start to react to that thought and start to see if you're pleased with it or not, if it's something you're comfortable with or not, that reactionary energy, you're developing the feminine. Now you're developing a woman, right? Now you got to make sure they have a good marriage and or multiple tribe family type of circumstance, depending on if you're all over the place and you got a lot of thoughts and feelings. So when it comes emotional, that's them interacting and having sex or however the case may be. But if you want to look at it in a regular state, thoughts, men, ideas, children, young boys, emotions, women, feelings, daughters, or whatever the case may be. So you got sons and daughters, and you got men and women, or however the case may be. But it's up for you to know how to put these things together so they don't get all over the place and you become a confusing individual, right? That's kind of like Sodom and Gomorrah within your own mind. And this is the natural state that Geminis be in 24/7 a lot of times. So, you know, they be aware of stuff that they may not always let you know that they are aware of. So a lot of times you have to be careful what you say and what you do around Geminis or whatever the case may be, especially if you in a relationship with them and you think you good at cheating or you think you good at manipulating or whatever the case may be. They even hold your hand and walk you through knowing what you're doing just so they could create a certain outcome that you wasn't ready for, however the case may be, because it's quick-minded or whatever. And your slow process to make up that idea to do that against them in the first place, they was more quick on their feet, like Quicksilver or whatever the case may be, as a resilience or what they call that. You got good resistance, not resistance, but you got reflex. They got good mental reflex or whatever the case. So sometimes they come with a gift and curse. When they're in their most relaxed state amongst people they're most comfortable with, they all over the place because they don't feel like they have to put that quick thing. So a lot of the quick thoughts that's developed that be used in sufficient manners may come out as this person just talk about everything that really don't matter at times or whatever the case may be. And they may seem more emotional than they actually are based upon how they're communicating about it. But a lot of times when a Gemini is, when it's needed, right? You thinking they stupid is going to work against you. Because all those times, let's say you was a person that got close to the Gemini or whatever the case may be, you going to see that other side, that goofy side. But then that's when you may challenge and then realize they knew you thought like that or they knew you was doing that the whole time and they was playing on how you are aware of them. So they just kept you in a box of the one side of their person and jumped into the other person that they be. They'd be like 2, 3, 5 different people and stuff. You was only seeing one person and stuff like that until they showed you the other person. And then now that's when you go somewhere and talk about Gemini's crazy, Gemini. No, what you do though? You forgot that part. You know what I'm saying? You forgot that part. You did something out of one mind frame that they was in, not knowing that you didn't care about astrology and stuff. You know, like Gemini, that don't mean nothing. The whole time they was in a whole different, the other person of them. You know what I'm saying? The other flip side of the pillow. Then they synced all that, and now you want to say somebody was crazy. No, you was playing on the one person, and that one person you thought was retarded in a certain way. The other person was way more intelligent. You know what I'm saying? So you got to know who you're dealing with one day and stuff like, or the other day. And if you don't, you get rocked to sleep. And now you somewhere saying Gemini's crazy. It's your fault, though. You know what I'm saying? It's your fault. You wasn't really peeping game. Give people credit. You got to give people credit where it's due. Everybody got to get that energy. But Mutable signs is here to help us adjust those type of qualities. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, they're not going to be the main focus of anything. You know what I'm saying? The fixed signs is going to be the most targeted at the moment when it comes to things that you're dealing with internally and how comfortable you're going to feel with expressing it or externally going about it and stuff like that. That's where the challenges be, because people think challenges is through celebrities or whatever the case may be, and they have their own challenges. But when we're breaking it down from my context and stuff like that, this is everybody's personal life. It won't be what may be broadcast to us from a celebrity. It will be what they're going through behind closed doors, dealing with each of their people, family, friends, associates, agency, team, however the case may be. And everybody is people. Everybody is on the same esoteric floor when we start to talk about experiences and stuff like that, because none of us is in control over the seasonal transitions and things of that nature. And anytime we try, nature show us that it reacts a certain way, like it's intelligent. You know what I'm saying? Just like all the smoke and stuff like that from the quote unquote beep 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 beep, the thunderstorm. Anytime it get real hot, I told y'all, light, the sun ain't hot itself, right? We're just dealing with a compression. So as we go to spring and summer, so anytime it's extremely hot, you can count on it to extremely rain. There's an actual system. You know what I'm saying? And that's how nature play. It ain't nothing in life that tell us we don't know that or whatever the case. We're just not in nature enough anymore to actually sit down and be quiet and keep our spirit still for a second, because our spirit be in this mind state, and this mind state be connected to what a condensed organ, and with the organ and the body fleshly fluid want to be pleased, and then that get attached to the external thing that's pleasing it. And then for the most part, y'all spirit is lost in your mind is lost into that specific organ that want that specific pleasure, and then the external thing is what you're willing to give your blood, sweat, and tears for and stuff like that. And somewhere down the line, dumbass still be unsatisfied. You know what I'm saying? Still be unsatisfied. Still be good enough. Some still don't be good enough. You know what I'm saying? So y'all be in all these weird energies and stuff like that. And summertime is going to teach us how to formulate so you can prepare to harvest. So even though it's still summertime during Virgo season, it's things that you were supposed to be doing during Cancer, like fisherman and things of that nature during Cancer, then showing everybody how much fish you got, that you could counterpartmentalize it amongst your people or whatever the case may be. And this is esoteric concept. Physical also, but you know what I'm saying, the way it's breaking it down, how you got safe havens and creative abilities that allow other people to have positions that may even surround what you're doing. So whatever you're doing is the center sunlight, and everybody got surrounding lights themselves, and moons or spaceships or whatever y'all want to call it. But these are just ideas that each individual spirit that's in that space represent, and they emanated down here in the physical form and play these things out. And we call it creativity and talent. And we have other people who don't have creativity and talent that hate on that concept. But other than that, that's all it is. It ain't nothing else, nothing too deep, nothing too spooky. It's life. Don't over exaggerate life. Now, for the most part, when it comes into you being an individual, once the sun go into Virgo, it's going to be showing you harvest all that, so you don't start to manifest this light or this spirit or this person becoming an enemy, this harvest, this thing not being enough to have a safe haven through fall and winter time, in this form, this circumstance right here to ground you, this ideology right here, that even if you was to lose it or not have enough, you still could develop that satisfied energy or however the case may be. These are all things you're going to be going through also preparing to be like, oh, it's getting ready to get cold. That's the most surface level thought of it, when y'all just like just distracted out in life or whatever the case may be, and nothing internally be going on with you know how to actually deal with the right way. So it just develop as mental trauma, develop as mental illnesses in certain areas, or mental instabilities, because mental illnesses come from individuals that sometimes you come across and they think they got a lot of good sense or whatever, but they're heavily invested into like a bias. They're heavily invested into something or a stereotype or something that they hate, that they want to attack or whatever the case may be. So an individual like that, you can't necessarily help or whatever, or you can't call them retarded, because the world that we are in, the retarded terms or mental illness is not construed in that area. And once you get into that area, a large percentage scale of that energy play out when you get ready to get into business and stuff like that. So a lot of times you have to be mentally ill or degenerate just to be intelligent and quote unquote, if you're in business in some way, shape or form. And not all businesses or whatever, but just, some of them cutthroat businesses and stuff like that, where, you just want to get in and get out. One of them type of businesses. Let me get in and get out. I know what this is, but the risks and the money from it, the outcome is willing to take. So let me go ahead and as soon as I get in, be working on my escape plan and stuff like that. A lot of people got that and stuff. There would be no such thing as insurance in today's time and stuff like that. And the military needing funds and stuff for the elders, the elder veterans and stuff. There would be no such thing as that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you get used and abused in some of these white collar, blue collar stuffs, and sometimes you get old and you have to sit back and think, wait a minute, and I'm old that? Let me go on VH1. You know what I'm saying? Wait a minute, am I old that? Let me go on DJ Vlad. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times it's like that and stuff like that. But you know what I'm saying? But during this Leo time, it's going to let you know whatever you're getting as an attention or expression or whatever the case may be, or your creativity, right? Try not to make it egotistical or whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a way how to do it. You don't want to go to the rainforest and show everybody your fig leaves and outfit every day, right? You know what I'm saying? Somebody else might want their design or their way of putting cloths together and stuff like that to look slick or whatever the case may be. And here you go, all in the videos, all backstage, all, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. And sometimes you got to be like, yeah, put the shovel to that and sign the death row. You know what I'm saying? Put the death to some of that stuff. It get you where P. Diddy at. Sometimes it ain't all about being in front, being the lead singer. You know what I'm saying? Ask Otis Williams at his bank account. Ask Otis Williams and the Temptations. You know he wasn't the lead singer. You know he wasn't every time you was hearing David Rush and hearing Blue. You know what I'm saying? Hearing all. You know you what really is a backdrop. Probably background dancer. You know what I'm saying? Don't even sing a note that long or whatever the case may be. But guess who they was called? Otis Williams and the Temptations. That asks about his pocketbook, though. Compare his pocketbook. You know what I'm saying? Compare his bank account to David Ruffin and never they even got any for their family. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta think about those things and stuff. And the Leos, what? It's Otis Williams a Leo. Because, you know, I'm spiritually inclined. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when I be talking and certain people pop up and because they be that sign and stuff like that. And not David Ruffin, it's Otis Williams a Leo. Let me find out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, y'all got to peep game and stuff like that. So right now you got to know what matters. You got to know sometimes it ain't always about being a lead singer. Sometimes you can sit back and something else matters more. You gonna know it matters more as soon as the sun going Virgo. You know, especially if it got something to do with money. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, that matters more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you could be in the front. But you need me to write for you? I write for you. Could do a cartwheel on the stage, backflip, all you want. We can put trampolines up there. Everybody can think it's your record. Everybody can think it's, you know what I'm saying? Shoot. You know what I'm saying? You'll be thinking real good, then. That's what Leo be trying to teach people. You know what I'm saying? Then a lot of times people don't take it. To say a person or a chick, a dude or a chick do slip up and do some creative stuff and can't get out that pocket. They ain't in that harvest season the right way or whatever. They get started. The main people, they be on VH1 talking about they getting taken advantage of. Talking about they ain't look at their contract or something like that. Because you was too happy. You was goofy as heck. You was goofy through the summer season. You was goofy through the harvest season. Then it was deserted time. You still got to work like it's summertime. They're going to make you work. Make you work. You ain't done doing shows. You ain't done doing interviews. You ain't done doing public work. You all tired. Your spirit exhausted. You about to shake your head like Britney Spears. I got that big game. Leo be kicking ass. Leo time be kicking ass. You gotta look at it from a spiritual top though. Beautiful women, divas, that's those feelings and emotions that sometimes you don't want to let go. Even if we're getting ready to go into Libra season. Like, you know, you be having a grace period. You got a whole 30-day grace period, Virgo. Whole 30-day grace period. You're supposed to harvest though what they was already fruitful of and stuff like that. You got the feelings. I don't want to let it go. I don't want to let it go. That's the ego. It already became an ego. Then you got men, ideas telling you how to go about it, how to keep it going. Then they start getting ideas that's filtered through people you know in your life, and then they start telling you ideas how to manipulate them, take the shine from this person because this person get ready to get their spotlight. Take that light away from them. They'll act that it be teaching you stuff. Like it's almost like the devil. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like the devil. Y'all gotta be careful of the like summertime light forms and stuff like that. Like for real. Because when it's somebody else's turn, that's it being in order. But when it's filtered through the external world of stuff that you be wanting, like Jordans and whatever you doing and y'all all doing, got you in that position of getting it and stuff like that. it'd be time for someone else to get the spotlight. You don't see it that way though. And then the light you got, it'd be other spirits and little lights around it, inside of it, trying to get born, telling you ideas that ultimately you'll probably meet a chick in that mind frame, and then they could come down. They all be working as a communion. But at the same time, they'd be telling you all ideas before it lead up to that on how to not allow somebody else get the spotlight. No, you got to remain this. You got to, you know what I'm saying? You got to do this. You got to block that person. This, you know what I'm saying? You start trickling it out. You start playing that out through your family, your friends, and stuff like that. And then now, here's where you get that concept of the breadwinners of family groups and stuff like that. Always the most negative person. That's like a racial stereotype or a racial profile or whatever. But it ain't nobody else's fault but theirs, though. Like, it ain't nobody else's fault for theirs. That white collar, blue collar, you reach to the top of the corporate business or whatever, and then you take that negative energy out on your family or something like that because you couldn't get boosted up in other areas of stuff. Now everybody's got to come up with another idea about what's wrong with you and stuff like that, but they can't really call you retarded. So you got a mental illness, because the retarded or the mental illness is not constructed over concepts that we need to be putting it towards. Someone using external references to fulfill something that they lack, and then it to get brought out on their family, get brought out on their friends, get brought out on their associations. So you got to be careful. Things be deep. You know what I'm saying? So you got to, when it comes to all kind of circumstances and stuff like that, y'all got to be careful out here when it comes into Leo season. You know what I'm saying? It'll have you in a certain mind frame where you start expressing yourself, and then it's like, that ain't what you should be expressing. You know what I'm saying? It's time to sit back, let somebody else get the stage. You know what I'm saying? It's time to sit back, let somebody else get the spotlight. It's time to sit back, let somebody else, you know what I'm saying? But when you don't learn that, that's where you get all those type of ill problems and ill concepts and stuff. Now you got some type of mental illness or whatever the case may be that you can't stop. You know what I'm saying? So y'all got to be real careful with yourselves. Now, like I said, you got beach season, you got rainforest season, you got desert season, and you got ice season. You know what I'm saying? So ice season, always correlate that in your mind. You get ready to make a lot of men and a lot of women that got to prepare for some type of shelter, put some cloth on or some stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times when you see people who did get things right, let's say they're not using it for ego or whatever the case may be, right? And they do get something right. These are people you could look at from a distance, whether they're family, friends, and associates, and be like, okay, those are qualities I need. Those are things I need to do, or whatever the case may be, in order for me to be protected, in order for me to be cool during this time, or however the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Let's say anytime we're going through desert time or whatever, that's fall time. So, you know, things is getting deserted. You know, you can't be all out and about. You know what I'm saying? It could be ammonia season, however the case. So, you know, you got to kind of prepare. It's that prepare energy. And out of that preparing is stuff that you were supposed to already be accumulating during the summertime, rainforest season. Because rainforest season, the beach get very fruitful. So the trees start to grow and fruit start to grow around it or whatever the case may be. So even when it's not raining, everything that's being produced is allowing you to be nourished and stuff like that. Now in the esoteric world, that's fruit. Those creative ideas. Those is ways of going about things, you know what I'm saying? That could either be egotistic or they could put the spotlight on things. Even if you're not always putting the spotlight on yourself, you may be putting the spotlight on something that others could be aware of. And let's say it's something negative. Others who may have not been aware of it could be aware of something negative and may not do those traits, or however the case may be. So it's like teaching people the ego without it really even looking like the ego. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of look at it like that. You go to the beaches and stuff like that. People got their own ways of correlating their way of being at a beach. People got their own way of correlating themselves of being at a meetup. People got their own way of correlating how they be at a conference or whatever the case may be. So, but it's just about how you present yourself. And you could look like you full of yourself, or you could look like you kind of calm, cool, and collected, or some way, shape, or form, or whatever. But you don't got to brag, because you actually express something that people can see as far as an emanation. And that masculine thought is going to be the man, and that feeling, that emotion is going to be the woman. You know what I'm saying? That feeling, emotion is going to be the woman. You know what I'm saying? So that puts you in a situation to let you know what you need to keep track of. You can have some sexy, beautiful feelings and emotions, right? That's a woman at this time. And you might try to go too far to express these things and put yourself in a hasty situation. It could play out like, because there's a lot of parties and stuff going on and stuff like that. So when you think about the summertime, right, it might be a time that you gained success in another area or whatever the case may be, but your way of wanting to show it off may be a little negligent or degenerate. So you want to go show it off at the wrong time, wrong place, or the wrong club, or whatever the case may be. And you could have took that anywhere, or you could have just waited or sit down. So you was trying to show yourself too much. So those energies that make you yancy, that make you want to jump, and you know what I'm saying, all those energies, those are energies to check or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Everything don't need to be seen. At the time you're correlating in your mind, it should be seen. Everything don't needs to be expressed at the time you think things need to be expressed. You see what I'm saying? So you got to keep those things in mind when it comes into Leo season. Leo season put people in a situation where a lot of times you get too yancy or whatever the case may be. And there's a lot of stimuli that we develop. Well, you got to check yourself, because a lot of times y'all don't know that y'all be producing neurons and DNA and stuff like that, right? Let's say if you're going through an illness or however the case may be, right? But you a person that's probably in some type of conniving energy or whatever the case may be. Now, here's the thing. It's like a fruit that, especially if it's a negative one, that we think is good. So say you're doing something that you think you like, it entertain you, but overall is negative. You know what I'm saying? You may be being negative to yourself and others to a certain degree. When that little feeling, when you be like you smile, like you feel like you got away with something, or you feel good about what you did, that's what that development right there. You just develop the thought form into a fleshly fluid that's get ready to destroy whatever organ that you pleasing the most. Whether you a person that likes to argue or debate a lot, and reach that area, or whether you a person that likes to type a lot. Let's say you're a troll, that might get you stiff and have you be having arthritis or extra fatigueness and stuff like that. But I'm explaining that's where those things come from. So if you like an individual that think you be getting over in one area, but you be sick in another area and stuff like that, it comes from that little feeling you be developing when you be developing your entertainment quality, and you know it's negative. So that little feeling like, I don't give a fuck, or that feeling like, oh, I got away with something. Y'all know that if y'all ever, because there ain't a lot of negative people out here though, but when some of y'all probably go through negative things on purpose or something like that, due to the fact that one of your siblings or somebody at your job or whatever the case may be, you know how something else have happened that ain't had nothing to do with that. It was because of that stimuli that you felt good about came from. It came from that, or whatever the case may be. So that's where all these sicknesses and stuff be natural, at least natural sicknesses and stuff, because these things come from the mind. So when y'all understand things from these aspects, your spirit represents a certain space that you are in. Then you develop awarenesses that represent that space, which becomes a mental form. Then that condense and become the adrenaline and the organs. And then once you express these things, right, it start to work in that manner. So you could be working in a resistant of the universe, or you could be working in accordance with the universe. And since there's not a lot of people that know how to develop their own entertainment without negativity towards other individuals and things of that nature, there's a lot of people with illnesses that don't know what to do with these things unless they're going to get checkups and stuff like that. But at that point, that's when it's too late. So it ain't about, see, this is what people think when people think about God or whatever. It's not about God doing something to you, right? It's what we're doing. But there's a way how the world works already. Or there will be no such thing as you plant a seed and a tree grow. There will be multiple ways of how we planting trees and other stuff, right? So that's showing you there's a natural order, but there's not enough studies on it from the mental construct. You know what I'm saying? There's only studies from the physical construct of it, but it really start in the mental first, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So creating definites for everything, but then tying mental world to infinites is what allowing a confusion of a dichotomy that doesn't necessarily need to be there, or whatever the case may be, right? There's a lot of thought patterns that lead to actions, and then that's us accomplishing, get out of here, that's us accomplishing something. You know what I'm saying? Anytime you have an adrenaline rush, you're accomplishing something. So, but y'all have to be careful what y'all be accomplishing. A lot of y'all be degenerate and y'all just be accomplishing bullshit or whatever the case may be. But this for everyone and themselves, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't teach nothing that I don't experience myself or whatever the case may be. And I don't teach nobody nothing. I just reminding people what they already know or whatever the case may be. So a lot of times you be having to be, when people not sensitive to what's actually going on, they're unaware of the happening as it go on or whatever the case may be. Sweep that up under the rug and continuously do the thing that caused that problem in the first place. Now they be needing more assistance than they actually need or whatever the case may be, when things could be a little bit more simple if you have some self-awareness. You see what I'm saying? But people don't have self-awareness because they're too lost into other people. When you're too lost into other people's minds and what you think they're going to think, you lessen the percentage scale of you having your own mind, and you just become a robot. You're piggybacking. You live your life to piggyback off other people's mind that may not even be thinking about you. So you become a people pleaser, if you think that's positive, or you become a person that's a antagonizer if you're a negative type of person or whatever the case may be. But it's never about you and what you should be developing. It's always about being lost in somebody else's mind. And that's a mental illness. You know what I'm saying? Also, you should never be lost in someone else's. And that's for people who are in that energy. There's not a lot of people in that energy or whatever the case may be. But those are certain areas where people develop personal illnesses that once it starts to become so large, these be things that they don't want to be telling their family, friends, and associates anyway. It's something that they rather deal with on their own, because how they're developing that illness in the first place is a bunch of degenerate stuff that they're entertained by on their own. So they're confused of how these things link, because they're already out of sync with life, already out of order or whatever the case may be. And everybody have these type of individuals within their family, friends, associates, co-workers, or however the case may be, or even if you're not aware of it, you know what I'm saying? Somewhere down the line, those traits is there for you to learn from, to take within for yourself, to be able to develop so you could be more on the positive end of the universe, or however the case may be, because it's a natural order to stuff. And you don't just want to be out of order and making up your own mind. I got my own will, I got my own, but you ain't no seed that you could go do a cartwheel in the dirt and a tree come out of you or whatever the case may be. So what you think you got your own will about is misguided, and those are faulty terms anyway to even think about things that way. But a person will want to be like, well, it ain't got to be this way because I can look at it this way. Your mind is out of order, and your mind is just in something that you just making on your own. So eventually it's going to turn into you thinking you a god, or you thinking you a master, or you thinking you something over somebody or whatever the case, without it having anything to do with reality, or and things that help oneself and others. So it can only lead into one harming oneself and harming others. And the harming come from the spiritual space that developed the mental form that start to push in and become that organ illness, and then that organ illness be the final decision for an individual to justify their extremities and their degeneracy and stuff like that. So a lot of times the external hurt people a lot of times come from what they're already personally going through internally. Kidney probably fucked up or something like that, or knees probably all messed up or whatever the case, or something messed up, you know what I'm saying, to the point that that's what you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Messed up people create messed up scenarios or whatever. Any of y'all had a manager at one of y'all jobs that just got cheated on, or had a health problem? That probably was your worst job ever. Or that didn't even have to, a lot of things that didn't even have to play out that way played out in ways it didn't have to. A lot of things was done, didn't have to be done that way. A lot of things was said, didn't even have to be said that way. That's pretty much where it be leading to and stuff like that. Extremities and stuff, because the extremity, anytime a spirit space is in the extremity on their own already, they self-project that into the world and start self-reflecting, and then reflect that extremity onto others. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times when a person have a certain lens, a certain view, you know what I'm saying, depending on how distant or separate it is from you, you ain't even got no business intertwining. You ain't even got no business intervening. You're supposed to look at it like an angel that's not supposed to intervene, right? With the childish spiritual games of the little children forms that those spirits choose to be in, or whatever, whether it's filtered through your family, friends, associates, co-workers, however the case may be. And you know what I'm saying, a game can't be played if no one's playing it. You know what I'm saying? They just eventually be playing with themselves. And we all know how kids get when they're playing a video game to themselves. The controller get through at the screen. They start wanting everybody to pay attention to how they're playing the game and stuff like that, and say, look at what I could do, or whatever the case may be. And people might got homework. You know what I'm saying? People might got sports practice, some more, you know what I'm saying? Like a spiritual adult type stuff and things and that. I'm just hypothetically speaking, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, I mean in parables. But y'all get what I'm trying to say. A lot of times, these little mental games that individuals be playing that you know that you be in to accept certain decision-making qualities in certain areas that frustrate you, like your job, amongst your certain family, friends, and associates, sometimes it's not worth it or whatever. And you could become withdrawn. You know what I'm saying? You could become spiritually fatigued. You're holding up your own and other people's clothes, esoteric clothes and mental forms and stuff like that. And sometimes that become like a burden. It's an esoteric burden because you didn't put your spiritual foot in your mouth too much. You didn't accept it too much, or however the case may be. Didn't express yourself, so people put you in a box just because you appear or act or seem a certain way. So you may even jump into a relationship and got certain qualities where homegirl might think you showing qualities the way her ex just showed, and now she don't even really want to pay attention to developing who you truly are, or whatever the case may be. And a lot of times it's just a bunch of unspiritual people that's still spirits communing with each other and stuff like that, and create a bunch of headaches and confusion and stuff like that. Yet you still want to get the natural things, which is eat and sleeping, or however the case may be, and having some form of comfort zone. But if individuals don't know how to develop that satisfaction quality, then for the most part, this is a spirit that's following damnation. You have to learn how to, because each step of the way, there's going to be things that show you, yeah, it might be good, but it can still be seen as overcompensating. And if you just chill out, there could be space open for more that you wasn't even aware of, more that you didn't even expect, because you're not with the devil. So you not with the devil, so you didn't have to expect anything, or whatever the case may be. So you're open to new ways of how something could be prosperous for you, how something could be seen, or whatever, how something could be duplicated, how something could be materialized, how something could give you more energy to be motivated to go for something. But when you're just lost in expectation a lot of times, and that becomes scarce and limited, and all kind of other spirits and esoteric vampires and bodies attacking it, you get unmotivated. You know what I'm saying? Because you know the fire hula hoops you got to jump through to get something that really shouldn't even be that extreme, or however the case may be. But at times we get blinded if we still want them new Jordans. You know what I'm saying? At times we get blinded if we still want that new chain. We want that new car. We want that new roof over our head and stuff like that. And ain't nothing wrong with these things or whatever. But the summertime, the sun of Leo will teach us when we're trying to put the spotlight too much on something that might need to dim a little bit, and let another light so things could be balanced. And then for the most part, when that's time for the light to be shined on whatever you're trying to shine it to again, it's clean. It ain't toxic. It's a different joke. It ain't the same joke. So you could be a comedian, but now you're riding the wave. You're riding a flight. You're not a comedian, but now you're being desperate, holding on to the previous bitch. You know what I'm saying? The previous emotion that she probably got a lot of men that's attracted to her, aka ideas of where the outcome could be at. One man probably be like, this is gonna get me money. One man, the other man in your head might be like, this is gonna get us a lot of physical females. And another idea, you know what I'm saying? So all these is surrounded this one female in your mind dancing around like this, like a beautiful emotion thingy. And you looking at that like, yeah, I want to feel like this. I feel like this if I get all this. How can I stay with this feeling? Here go the man tell you, do this, rob that nigga blind. You know what I'm saying? And they start telling y'all stuff. I start telling y'all stuff. Y'all be tripping. Y'all be tripping. So be careful, you know what I'm saying, during the summertime, you know what I'm saying, because it's hot right now. This is when things get lit too. Lit up. You know what I'm saying? Lit up and stuff like that, and everybody just want their little light situation. Everybody want their little light position in the world or whatever. Everybody want their spot in the Rainforest Club. You know what I'm saying? Because the rainforest is like a club. So everybody want their little spot in the rainforest club, or however the case may be. So, you know what I'm saying? You can find yourself fighting over esoteric goddamn Ace of Spade bottles and crystal bottles and stuff like that. Then you're going to realize it's unfulfilled. You done spent all that money, did all that to be showing out how it played out in the third dimension, and be damn near broke by the time we're going into the last pieces of summer, Virgo season. Don't get played like that. Don't play yourself like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't play yourself. We know how to marginalize, know how to kind of compartmentalize your esoteric currency. That's your esoteric money. You see what I'm saying? They're all kind of compartmentalized. Yeah, I'm good there. I can go to esoteric China. I can go to esoteric Europe, Italy. I come back to North America. I'm good. Like, I just switch out my money or whatever like that. I'm good. That play out as third dimensional ideas and stuff like that that you might not even express yet. Some of these ideas that you're starting right now and planting might not, the way God set things up, might give you the right answer to not express these things till fall time, till winter time, or whatever the case. That's how cold it is. Yeah, this is a good ass idea. I'm gonna hold it down. This would be perfect to drop it fall time. You know what I'm saying? But you're developing it now. It's birthing in the womb now. You know what I'm saying? So that's how the summertime play out. It wants you to go ahead and relax and enjoy the rainforest. Don't go ahead and compete with the rainforest got to offer. You want to fight over all the peaches. You want to fight over all the apples, the crab apples and stuff like that. You want to fight over all the deer. You know what I'm saying? You want to fight over all these energies and stuff like that. And then for the most part, your whole summer going and you just really competing and doing a whole bunch of stuff that you ain't got no business doing or whatever the case may be. Hold on. That you ain't got no business doing. You know what I'm saying? So you just be in a situation where you're just all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And then you did a whole bunch of stuff you didn't have to do because you wanted to show out for the summer. You wanted to show out for the, and that was a whole bunch of men, crusty men. You know what I'm saying? That was egotistic and a lot of beautiful women you had in your mind. That was dancing around nearly butt naked and stuff, like all kind of stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't help yourself. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that feeling, I got the feeling. Yeah, I know you can't. Yeah, it get like that sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You can't help yourself. That feeling is something that you want to express, and sometimes the summer times give the outside quality or just the energy itself, whether you're a homebody or whatever, to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're in certain areas or whatever, because every area ain't hot. But even looking at things like, you know what I'm saying, all the year round, you ain't sitting up under no air conditioner or no fan. That's a whole different thought process, though. You know what I'm saying? Just think about when it's cold outside and you got to be all shut up and shut doors and windows shut and things of that nature and covers all over you or whatever. That's a whole different mind frame of how you start your day, how you go about your day, how you deal with other individuals, your decision-making quality. It ain't going to be a lot of stuff you decide to do in wintertime that you be deciding to do in the summertime and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So everything equal itself out in proportions. So just looking at life like that, that's how you supposed to be doing just your energetic forces, your internal forces, your thoughts and your feelings. Compartmentalize all these things. You're going to have one feeling, emotion that leads you to do something, and you're going to have a lot of men around it, a lot of thoughts around it that probably give the ideas to make it seem like it's good to go, or however the case may be. Don't step beside yourself. And not to say that when you're in these energies that is just wrong itself. I'm just saying, all spirits know when they're taking self-accountability if they're doing something right or if they're doing something wrong. No other spirit have to tell another spirit that. You know what I'm saying? So these are already internal decision-making qualities that spirits already take for themselves. So let's say you might be frustrated with a spirit that you think retarded or degenerate or whatever the case may be. No, they're intelligently doing what they do. Now, if you match whatever they're doing to what's in sync and what's relatable to regular things in the world or whatever the case, and if it don't match it or whatever the case, then you're able to see, okay, that's just a negative person. But that's what they choose to do. It's not them being dumb or whatever. Rather, they want to make you believe they dumb or whatever. It's just that's what they choose to do. So they're developing their own neurons, and you have nothing to do with that or whatever. So you wasting your time even sitting around thinking about maybe a family friend, associate, or a hater of yours, or a coworker, or whatever the case. You're like really wasting your time. You know, for the individuals to think the way they're thinking, they got a lot on their mind. You see what I'm saying? You gotta look at it like that. They got a lot on their mind. And if you know how the world works, you ain't supposed to be running around with a lot on your mind or whatever. So you're open enough to have quick thought, quick mental reflex, so you are aware of everything. So when things have to be on your mind, it's things you already know what it is. You already know what to deal with because you was open enough through each portion of your life to experience these things one way or another, or whatever the case may be, right? So you're already familiar. That keep you up to date. You are in the present as a spirit within your mind and your body. You know what I'm saying? You're in the present with your both metaphysical and your physical form, mind and your body. So you're able to project and self-reflect healthy in the world. Your self-reflecting energy is healthy. Can't nobody tie anything to it. And your projection, which you project from yourself, is healthy. You know what I'm saying? Can't nobody say you're attaching yourself to something. Or what, you see what I'm saying? So for the most part, people can't attach themselves to you and you're not attaching yourself to something. So you could just be amongst your people or just amongst like-minded individuals and things of that nature, because it's all going towards something that's productive anyway. Because being in that type of spiritual space only leads to a person being inspired about what they're trying to present and create. So that could be anything, especially when it comes to the things that make the world go around. You know what I'm saying? Like food, clothing, music, and stuff like that. These are the things that make the world go around, or whatever the case may be. These are things worth buying, worth paying for, souvenirs or whatever, worth going back, worth listening, worth wearing, you know what I'm saying, worth eating again, and things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? Those are qualities that goes beyond whatever we're duplicating it, and how y'all getting lost in the human and looking at how we distribute these things physically. These things beyond that, you know what I'm saying? And these things will always be here, because we can even look at animals, birds chirping, and they ain't got no distribution companies, but they doing the same goddamn things. You know what I'm saying? So this is beyond. It's just the way things is. It's an aspect of being in sync and relatable. That's just one portion that fall up under it. There's a lot of things that fall up under a foundation of something. You know what I'm saying? Or an origination of something. And then it just has a lot of children. Just like if I have a thought, that's the original thought, then that thought have a lot of children, ideas, men and children, and feelings and emotions, women and daughters. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be. Okay, it's like that when we start to accumulate in this existence itself. You know what I'm saying? It has an accumulation effect. So you want to make sure you keep your accumulation effect going, or whatever the case. But that's you being spiritually open. When you just concealed and stuff, and that's your only thing to pluck from and eat for as a fruit, to feel good about yourself, especially if it's at the expense of others or whatever the case. But there's not no agreeable stage there, like we're actually playing a sport or we're actually competing at something or whatever the case may be. This is not your problem. You're not competing with no one. This is just another individual's problem, competing with themselves, but don't know where that competing is at, because they don't got no God or anything of that nature, or they don't believe in it, or it ain't got nothing to believe in. Don't believe in nothing, just believe everything. You know, don't be inside of nothing. This person is not aware of themselves enough, so that same energy start to get self-projected outwardly, or whatever the case may be. And you just might be a person that get hit with the David and Goliath stone, the weak dusty stone that they may have, or whatever the case may be. But it's always going to be like a prune shriveled up organ that they throw. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta keep that in mind, because you're not in the space of even having those type of awarenesses because of what you're developing. So I guess that's like the universe balancing itself out also and stuff. But that's why I said, you don't have to think too far about people you might not agree with, or people that's haters of yours, or however the case may be. Because for the most part, if you a person that's productive, you know that your even unproductive or negative qualities is geared towards people, places, and things that's more connected to what you got going on, and people you know. You know what I'm saying? Anytime it start to become miscellaneous or whatever the case may be, or whatever, this ain't even something. Don't even think about it like, oh, people retarded in the world, or people is degenerate, or whatever the case may be. These are people that's doing intelligent. Everybody are intelligently trying to do their bias. That's what you have to understand. So all you have to do is understand what an individual is doing, positive or negative. But in this lens, we're talking about negative, but even positive. This is how the world works, right? You can even see this in the animal, the bug universe, everything, right? Everybody is intelligently trying to play out. So a person will even act unintelligent or degenerate, and behind closed doors, rocking you to sleep, manipulating you, and that's how they was intelligently going about their getting their bias. And you may just have something to do with their bias, or you might be in the hood. You ask somebody's chain, they wanted to take your chain or whatever. That might have been a bias of theirs, or whatever the case may be. You see what I'm saying? But just making it make sense for y'all, so y'all can understand how to read things and figure things out real fast, or whatever. If you want to go deeper, everybody, there's not a soul inside of a mind and a body, and a soul is just an individual spirit. Spirit just means we all got one space. We all got a space. So you could be in somebody else's space. Be in the spirit. Be careful what spirits you be in, because your spirit might not ever be right, and your individual solo spirit is your soul, or whatever the case. And this is what you need to know. Everybody by default is a flying, walking bias, flying inside of their first body mind and walking inside of their second body, their physical form. So for the most part, when a person over exaggerate, they're always going to intelligently do their bias. So even if something getting done to you and you don't know why this person doing it, you do know. You could be in corporate, you could be out of business, white collar, blue collar, you could be in sports, you could be regular family, however the case it may be. The You are a part of a bias that they have, and within the bias they have the dichotomies: good cop, bad cops, angel devils, what they like, what they don't like, and you're just a part of them deciphering these things. And some people that they meet is on the good part of their bias, and some people that they meet is on the negative part of that bias, but it's in the bias, and a person is always going to intelligently try to do their bias. You're supposed to be living your, I ain't gonna say supposed to, because everybody got their own life, their own children. But if you want to see things planned out more in sync and relatable and things of that nature, then you always knowing that by default you are biased. So by you checking your biases each second is what allows you to be more open, is what allows you to receive more from the universe, whether it come through the form of intelligence, comfortability, satisfaction. And every now and then little vampires trickle through because they don't know how to get that energy. So they try to produce that fruit for themselves. And that's the only way how they get that energy. That'll play out in the third dimension. That's somebody mimicking you. Somebody trying to infiltrate you, psyop you. They could be anybody, family, friend, associates, or however you want to point that to. You know what I'm saying? Y'all lies. We all know. But for the most part, it could be a lot of situations where it's because a person lack a fruit. We can even look at that physically, right? Before it's a fruit and become creative, let's look how y'all be lost in the world, right? What Michael Jordan and Walt Disney may have taught us. The creativity got produced through maybe a song in this way. And let's say if it's the music industry, do you know how many bottom feeders is going to attack that person, and that person going to end up being a ghostwriter for the next 10 years of they goddamn, and being in some type of OVO sweatshop or whatever the case may be. And before that, where it got produced from as a fruit, transmuted through the music, it play out the same way. You know what I'm saying? So before they even got put out and they could be represented for it or whatever, it ain't got attacked by this, this person, this spirit, that they all jump for it at one time or whatever, and put it up for sale or whatever the case may be. And the only person who got the second question things is the person who brought that fruit to the table in the first place. Leo gonna teach all y'all during this time though. You know what I'm saying? Have some self-respect. Even when you may have the obsessed energy, that's a mental illness. Have some more respect for yourself. Never be obsessed in any form of mental concept, a person, or negative quality. Or what, don't even be obsessed with positivity. You know what I'm saying? You should be in the present. So when something not positive happen, you know how to deal with it. You don't extremely reactionary energy start to happen. And then when something negative happen and when something positive happen, you know how to manage it and not to crash out, because the excitement and the adrenaline you getting to the point that you done tricked on the whole goddamn hood and shit like that, and you ain't getting no ass still. But I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Flight boss beat, you know. But shout, you know, I listen to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I'm the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry God duties and BBB responsibilities. Erector Swat Hill, hold that yellow hoop. That's a sword, mama and a toy. Ooh, that's a sake. That's a sake.